Hey guys, my name is Calvin. I'm one of the co-founders of Cartridge and lead designer, and we are going to talk about Dopewars, which is a game that we built. Um, uh, yeah, it's a fully on-chain game. We built it. Here's a brief history of Drug Wars. It's an old game, 1984, built on MS-DOS. A lot of you probably recognize it. Um, and it was really popular. It was rebuilt by Johnny Dell in 1998 for Windows, and it had a lot of downloads, um, and there were a lot of copycats. Famously, it was played on TI-83 calculators in math class. um, all of those copycats kind of followed a pretty simple game loop. You would start a game, it would create a bunch of markets. You would buy a drug, travel, try to arbitrage the price, and then maybe you would have some random events. Enter Dope DAO. This was a gaming DAO that was inspired by the Loot project in 2021. And so this NFT was minted, and it was a governance NFT. Um, the DAO was funded by royalties from this NFT, and then they would allocate it towards other projects. There was a paper airdrop. They created player characters based on the original NFT, and they created we created a swap meet, a marketplace where you could equip those items to your character. And they did a bunch of other stuff. They made a mixtape and a bunch of things on top of that. And one of the things that we tried to build in 2021 was this game, Roll Your Own. But it was super hard, so we started Cartridge to try to make it easier to build fully on-chain games. And today we have a playable version. It's a PWA, so if you go to rwo.game or scan that QR code, you can play on your phone. And just like under the hood, it's oh, please scan it. Sorry, apologies, guys. rwo.game, that's the URL, so if you can remember that, it'll take you there. Okay, so under the hood, it's built with Dojo, which is an open source game engine built on the Cairo VM. We designed it, Cartridge designed it, but we're also DAO contributors. That's where we got started. And it follows the same core game loop. So I'll walk you guys through it. We're doing a mainnet deployment next month, and we're going to integrate the paper token. So there will be a ranked version of the game, and then an unranked version of the game. But yeah, you start a game, you pick a character, you choose a location, and you buy drugs. You might have an encounter with cops or gangs as you travel, and then you have to decide how you're gonna respond to that encounter, and then you sell your drugs and you try to make as much money as possible in 30 days. It's the core game loop. We tweaked the formula a little bit. So one of those tweaks is we added a reputation system. So as you do things in the game, your character levels up and you start to graduate into different, more profitable drug markets. So I mentioned this earlier, we did a ranked play version, or we're doing a mainnet deployment, and there will be season rewards that get distributed for ranked players, and then there's the free version. We added some simple player progression, so you can upgrade your items in the game to just like get base stat increases. And we localize the threat. So as you buy and sell in these different locations, your threat goes up and your chance of an encounter increases. Modding RYO. Dope DAO has a lot of really amazing art assets. So you don't have to start from scratch. So we have exterior spaces that you can use. We have interior spaces that you can use. There are a bunch of sprites that are available. And yeah, if you want to use any of these, come find me or someone else from the cartridge team. Yeah, just some basic ideas. You can design an NFT output that maybe would be an input for another game. So like, could you use this to mine an NFT that would become the input for another game that's built on top of RYO? Maybe there is a mini game that occurs inside the random events. Right now, it's a bit of a spreadsheet game, but it could be more interesting than that. And then the progression system is like dead simple right now. There are ways that you can improve that. So thank you. That's our way.